I'm live for this dusk, so to speak, taste challenge. This is going to cover Saturday. Saturday is going to be scheduling thing. And you know, sometimes we have to do these scheduling things. We have to play with the schedule. And that's what we're doing. And we're looking at one famous blended whiskey, one very obscure, relatively obscure blended whiskey. The famous one is Chivas Regal, aged 12 years, blended Scotch whiskey. The prince of whiskeys, they claim, from Chivas Brothers, which started in Aberdeen, Scotland in 1801 in a grocery store. Two brothers with a grocery store turned into a whiskey empire, now owned by Pernod-Ricard, France. Okay. August 1st, 2018, this was bottled. Over 1 year ago. At 3:49, I guess, in the afternoon. All right, comes from Strathala. Let's see, there's a hyphen. Glenlivet, yeah, sorry, Strathala Glenlivet Distillery. It's older than the Chivas Brothers company. Now there's a whole plethora of Chivas Brothers, Chivas Regal. Oh, very nice. Hey, nice hair, says Cindy B. Thank you. Hey, I'm glad I got hair on my head, and it's real. Okay, I know somebody I work with. He has glued on hair. He likes it. To me, it doesn't look good, but he likes it, and that's what counts. And I would never dream of telling him anything. All right. Actually, it looks better than that stuff you see on TV where they got that look like carpet, and they talking about buy this, and it's so expensive. The hair club and all that. I was like, oh no. All right. Anyway, Chivas 12 is smooth, rich, and generous. It's a blend of the finest malt and grain whiskeys matured for at least 12 years that deliver luxurious honey, vanilla, and ripe apple notes. Because blended is better in life and in Scotch. They're doing that to, I guess, needle people, right? Malt's good, grain's great. I don't know. Have you ever heard anybody say grain whiskey's great? I guess some people. Blends better. Oh, now there's a whole array of Chivas Regal whiskeys. I'm starting at the base model. You know what I'm saying? And it goes up. This was $34 for the bottle and the two beautiful glasses. There's Chivas Regal Extra. And it's Oloroso sherry casks. So they age it in Spanish sherry casks. Ooh. There's the Chivas Regal Mizunara. Mizunara is Japanese wood barrels, Japanese oak barrels. Chivas Regal 15, age 15 years. Chivas 18 year gold signature blend. The gold signature 18 year. Now, you know, as you climb the ladder, you know what happens to the price? You got it. It climbs with the ladder. There's Chivas Regal Altus, honoring the 1999 treble with a soccer team. Age 20 years. Chivas Regal Altus, just the Altus, the essence of who we are. Well, I have to research that one. It's in a really expensive looking bottle. There's the Chivas 25, the world's first luxury whiskey. The original legend. You hate to see what that costs. And then there's one called Chivas Regal, the Icon. It's on a decanter top. And it's called the Pinnacle. And then there's another one also called Chivas Brothers Blend, the Chivas Brothers Blend, an exclusive tribute to our founders. So that's one. And then there's a set you can buy and blend your own. They got like a little, kind of like a little activity set. It's called the Chivas Whiskey Blending Kit. I just like to have that, a whiskey blending kit. Chivas Regal. Okay, so that's what, well, we're not going to count that as one of their brands because that's when you make your own. But there's 1, 4, 7, 10. 10 different variants at this particular moment. Cindy Ben says, laugh out loud. That's hilarious. Thank you. Brian T says, late evening stream. I'm right on time. Yes. La Rosa 823 says, yes, the legend himself. Oh, who was that? All right. Time to get going. Time to get this one. Now, here's little homely Sir Malcolm. Okay, so thank you. Then the Chivas Regal is the 12-year age. It's $34 a bottle. Now, the Sir Malcolm Royal Club, well, that's $9.99 a bottle. Most places $9.99, $10.99. Depends where you go. So let's say $9.99. But like you might have to pay $1 more. All right, Royal Club. Now, what's the other Sir Malcolms besides the Royal Club? Well, they have nothing else. All right. So you get the Royal Club, and that's it. It's got a crown. It's got a unicorn and a lion. It's got a key, a whiskey barrel, a sheath of barley, and a copper pot still. Product of Scotland, soft and mellow, highest quality. They claim it's the highest quality. Imagine that. This is the highest quality. This is what Sazerac is telling us. The highest quality. And for only $9.99. Can you imagine that? Imported and bottled by the Sir Malcolm Company, Frankfort, Kentucky. The Sir Malcolm Company, Frankfort, Kentucky, eh? Yeah. That's Buffalo Trace Distillery in Frankfort, Kentucky. And there's some medals. Some guy's face, a temple, a goddess, Greek goddess, and some other device, which are basically meaningless. I'm not good. They do say something, but I'm not going to try to read all that. All right. I know somebody I work with said he used to like to drink Sir Malcolm. We love to hear from our customers, Sazerac.com. They are good at responding now. When you call them, they'll tell you where to find this stuff. Like you can tell them, I'm looking for a particular brand. They'll tell you. They'll tell you when the store last had it. I was looking for a Canadian whiskey called James Fox, and the guy said, "Oh yeah, let me see. Oh yeah, he told me the stores. Go check those stores." Sure enough, it was there. No joke. They're very friendly, you know. And I asked the guy, no, one time it was a lady on the phone, and I said, I know your headquarters in New Orleans. They're on Magazines. Is it Magazine Street, New Orleans, or is it Canal Street? I can't remember. It doesn't matter. It's somewhere down there. I said, where am I calling? She said Buffalo Trace. I said, oh. So that's where the 1-800 number takes you to Buffalo Trace. All right, so we have Chivas Regal. This is the famous one from 1938. In 1909, it was a 25-year blend, but they reintroduced it in 1938 after Prohibition as a 12-year blend. That's the one they make now. It's amber. There's no age statement on the Sir Malcolm, so I can't tell you. It's probably just a minimum 3 years. It's golden. Kind of got a little greenish tint. Where does Sazerac get this from? Do they own a distillery in Scotland? I don't think so. So it's probably farmed out. It's getting dark now. Their principal office was moved to Louisville in 2009, but it's actually it's one of the 2 largest spirits companies in the U.S. Annual revenue $1 billion. Okay, let's see. Oh, here we go. Operations in Carson, California, Loomis, California, Baltimore, Maryland, was Baltimore County, Maryland, Chicago, Illinois, Bardstown, Kentucky, Frankfort, Kentucky, Owensboro, Kentucky, Fredericksburg, Virginia, Montreal, Canada, Lewiston, Maine, Londonderry, New Hampshire, Newport, Tennessee, and Segonzac, France. Yeah, I didn't think they had a distillery in Canada. I mean, in Scotland. Here's their distilleries: A. Smith Bowman in Virginia. That's a little craft distillery. Barton 1792 in Bardstown. Boston Brands of Maine in Lewiston, Maine. Buffalo Trace in Frankfort, Kentucky. Glenmore Distillery, Owensboro, Kentucky. Old Montreal Distillery in Quebec, Montreal. And Popcorn Sutton Distillery in Newport, Tennessee. I haven't heard of that one. Some guy that died 10 years ago when he was 62 years old committed suicide instead of going to prison for moonshining and illegal firearm possession. Popcorn Sutton. Oh, Sazerac bought it nearly 3 years ago. Only the distillery, but not the brands. Okay. So that's kind of up in the air on where the brand, but that's not what germane to what we're doing tonight. It's just interesting. Okay. All right. So I have to be careful to mix these because, and not to glance at the color because the amber in that yellowish green, that greenish yellow straw color is going to throw me off. I think I should be able to tell them apart, but I tell you what, I thought it was going to be a slam dunk when I did Chivas Regal versus Piper Dean, another Sazerac brand. And yeah, you know, it won't be a contest, but it had me a little thrown off. I was a little nervous, not too nervous. I mean, I got it correct, but I was a little scared. Okay, here it's going to be a bit of a challenge more than you would think because the Sir Malcolm does have a pretty interesting malt whiskey aroma and taste. Oh, well, sure, it's mostly grain whiskey. For $9.99 a bottle, what do you expect? You think it's going to be? Oh, and some of those Chivas Regal brands I was talking about, those are blended malt whiskey, no grain in them. They're blended single malts. And if you get on the Chivas Brothers website, they have an incredible array of Scotch brands. Not just the Chivas Regal, but they've got Passport Scotch. There's one called well, there's 100 Pipers, which I can get here. There's Glenlivet. You know, well, there's a whole bunch. You have to look on your own. It's very interesting. Damn. I glanced at it and I could see the amber color, even in this dying light, this fading light, fading lady light. I don't plan to be on here too long. I have to do a dawn brushes tomorrow. That would be the Tuesday challenge, you see. That's the normal. Man, when I'm done with all these rums, I am going to be done with them. I'm not buying more. Those will be my off days. Okay. Good amount of smoke. Well, let's say an amount of smoke. Peat, of course, grain whiskey, and that bready, doughy malt. You know, you get that. It's like bread dough. Oh, this smells really good. This must be Chivas Regal. How could you get this rich of an aroma from a $9.99 discount brand But weird things will happen in this crazy mixed up world of ours. Okay. The aroma over here is so muted relative to that one. It's muted. There's aroma, but it's dialed down so low. You know what I mean? It's so pressed down that you don't get much. Let's see. You get some peat. You get some single malt whiskey, the bread dough. Huh? Smoke, oh, little faint wisp of it. And not really a lot of harsh grain at all. It's water. You say, no, you're cuckoo. I'm telling you, I'm picking out water. Boy, if you could track down where Sir Malcolm is made, what distilleries, I'd love to know. But it's not a single distillery. Well, there's got to be somewhere it's blended. Like, we know it's getting single malt from somewhere, grain whiskeys from all about, and they procure these things. They've got agreements from different companies. But where is it blended? Is it blended at Buffalo Trace? I think it has to be blended in Scotland. Yeah, it just says imported and bottled by. It was bottled in the USA. It's got to be produced in Scotland, but it can be bottled in the USA. Just like Canadian whiskey has to be blended in Canada. You know what I'm saying? It can be bottled here. No, that's not an issue. Okay, so already off the bat, as they say in cricket, right off the bat, as they say in cricket, I think that's the Chivas Regal with the richer aroma. But let's go with taste, shall we not? Smoke. Didn't see that last time with Piper Dean, but it's here. Peat. The bready dough from the single malts. And then the backbone of it, the body. Thank goodness that air conditioner's off the body of it. But that's a good AC. It better be. It cost me $5,000 even, including installation, plus the furnace. So we're talking about air conditioner and furnace and installation for $5,000 even. And the grains. We know a grain, well, you may not, but grain alcohol tastes very similar. Canadian, American, Irish, or Scottish. Similar flavor of the grain. Now, Japanese, no, not the same because of your rice base. You say, well, rice is a grain. I know, but it's a different flavor. These American, Canadian, Irish, and Scotch are almost invariably using corn, or as you might say, maize, if you live in Europe, maize, as their, that frog again, as their base. Boy, if you get a bullfrog living next to your house, they can make a racket. All right. There's a thin layer of single malt whiskey here. Couldn't tell you what it is. Couldn't begin to tell you, but and Sazerac has an incredible array of blended Scotch whiskeys and single malts too, I might add, but their website is screwed up right now, but you can just read all the brands. It just goes on and on. They got that one I keep seeing, Highland Mist. But I'll never get to it because I keep wanting to climb the ladder. You know what I'm saying? I want to climb the ladder. I want to go through all the Chivas Regal brands. I want to go through Ballantine. Unfortunately, I think we only get 2 Ballantine in America. The finest, that's their base model, which is actually not their finest, and the 12-year. There's so many others. There's a 30-year Ballantine. You know, that must cost. So you could hate to see what that costs. And then the Grants, and climb that ladder, and the Buchanan's, and climb that ladder. And the Cuddy Sark Reserve, the black label. The J&B. Well, I don't think J&B has, but that and the J&B Honeybee, the Honeybee. Do I want to drink Honeybee Scotch flavored with honey? You know the answer, no. But apparently there's some variant J&B brands that aren't listed, you see. Good evening, Ron, says John and Elaine. Good evening to you. Thanks for watching my video production. Smoky single malt with peat. Is any of this bold? Oh, no. If you want a bold Scotch, Chivas Regal, the base 12-year, is not the one to get because it is designed to be mild, and let me mention mild. That's what it's designed for. Mass appeal, sipping, or mixing, preferably mixing, as evidenced by their huge listing of cocktails, but mild, okay? Do they have more exotic ones? Yes, they do. The Sir Malcolm Royal Club, what is that designed for? Cheapness? But, you know what? It's pretty dang good. I wish when I went to Georgia last year, I'd have brought John and Neely a bottle of that Sir Malcolm. He could have bought one here, but he was buying so much stuff. I mean, what are you going to do, buy everything? That's not possible. And it's an inexpensive brand. But there is something going for it. It's not just old run-of-the-mill garbage. It's been on the market 52 years. There's something there's a little character with it. Can't say what it is necessarily. Now, if you rest on it long enough, though, boy, oh boy, that grain alcohol will come through. And it's like, whoa, I'll cut my arm. Let me get some cotton ball and put it on the alcohol and put it on my arm. You say, you mean it's like rubbing alcohol? It has that characteristic, but it won't kill you like rubbing alcohol. Whoa. It'll get next to you if you let it. But it isn't all that. It isn't all atrocious terribleness. Does it comport with the price point? Does it seem like $9.99 is the appropriate price? Yeah, I wouldn't pay more than that. Well, $10.99, yeah, but I wouldn't go a penny above it. I wouldn't go to $11. I got to get off of this internet and go watch the rest of the game. And then wake up and do this again, and then go sleep, and then wake up and go sleep, and then wake up and go sleep, and wake up and go sleep, 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 wake up and go sleep. You say, don't you ever get tired of it? No, not really. I'm surprised that the Chivas Regal isn't more peat forward and complex. It isn't really. The Buchanan's 12-year was wonderful. Oh yeah. Would you say that the Chivas is comparable to that? It doesn't sound like it. Well, it's comparable in price because they cost the same amount. No. The Buchanan's is much richer and smokier and peatier and has a bolder flavor. But then again, it could be designed for that. The Chivas Regal is so mild, or if you want to use the term bland, I guess we could allow for that term, bland, compared to Buchanan's. But I can't rip on something when it's designed to be what it is. They're basically saying on the website, hey, this whiskey's made to be dull, but they don't use that terminology. So that a lot of people will like it. Okay, and won't be offended by it. Now, what's Sir Malcolm designed to be? Tolerable. Is it tolerable? Yes, and I'm picking up a little cracker, biscuit and cracker. It's like a sourdough biscuit. It's very interesting. I wouldn't pay more than $10.99 a bottle, like I'm telling you. If it was $10.99, I'd buy it. If it was $11, I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't spend that penny. No. You say, I mean, you got to stop somewhere. So, is Sir Malcolm okay for value-priced drinking purposes? Certainly is. Is it better than a lot of the other cheaper Scotch whiskeys? Well, it's got a lot more flavor than Piper Dean. Piper Dean's not bad, and it's $5.99 if you get to the right Albertsons. But it's oh so dull. On the other hand, I was able to get the 100 Pipers for $8.99, the most popular Scotch in India. Can you believe this? I'd love to find the 12-year age. Probably won't ever see it. 100 Pipers from Seagram's. Well, used to be Seagram's. Chivas Brothers now. In other words, Pernod-Ricard. 100 Pipers is much smokier, but some are more peaty and some are smokier. But boy, 100 Pipers, $8.99, as smoky as it is, it's almost hard to believe. What a value. Yeah, that's they use Strathala single malt in that. But that's for tomorrow. Let's worry about that tomorrow. It's handled by Heaven Hill in America. Now, I don't know how that works. Like, Chivas Brothers makes 100 Pipers, but Heaven Hill bottles it. Well, it's probably just an agreement. They say, well, you bottle it and you sell it through your distributors, and we'll whack it up together. We'll share the profit. Okay, fine, done. It's done with other products. This I know for sure, like Foster's beer. Good example. These companies share. You say, well, that sounds like collude. It's collusion if they're conspiring to set prices, okay? It's not collusion when they're sharing beer and sharing whiskey. Not that I say I support collusion, anti-collusion laws. I don't support anti-collusion laws. I think companies should be allowed to collude because I'm a free enterprise guy, guys. I'm a free enterprise guy. Anyway, I'm going to call it, the Chivas Regal is obviously way better. Is it 3 times as good? Oh, probably so. I guess it is. Better be. I paid $34 and I paid, well, it's $33.99 and I paid $10.99. No, retraction. $33.99, $9.99. Okay, $33.99, $9.99. That's my price. Oh, that's a smooth draw. Ooh. Woo! That is smooth. There's no rubbing alcohol, no grain alcohol pickup on the bottom. That is beautiful. Beautiful. Sure, it's probably 75% grain alcohol, grain whiskey. But oh well, column still. Oh well. Be that as it may. The way they put those single malts together in the blend is so good. And there's a long video, not too long. Well, it's pretty long, but it's worth it. If you love watching that stuff, it's like you can't stop watching it. On the Chivas Regal website, and their master blenders talking about it. And he's saying, if you think we're just throwing it together, you're living in some kind of dream world. He said, this is like difficult. And then he's like getting defensive in the video, like, I had to train to do this. You can't blend like, he's basically saying, you can't blend Scotch like I blend it. You could never pull it off, and that's all hype, to get you to buy it. But it's fine. I like hype. And they're selling the blender's kit. You can blend your own Scotch. But Craig Swinson says, dag nabbit, I just now tuning in. Heck. Makes me so angry. You missed it, the live broadcast. I'm so angry I could crush a grape and tear a tissue. But you know what I'm saying. Well, Chivas Regal is the winner. But we knew that before this video ever began. Is it the clear winner? I should say so. But on the other hand, boy, it's almost dark now, huh? Is the 100, is the Sir Malcolm worth purchasing? Yes, it really is worth buying, and you might be able to buy a 1.75 liter plastic bottle if you can tolerate the plastic. You know what I'm saying? For like $15.99, no joke. It's well worth that. If you want a reliable, value-priced blended Scotch whiskey for mixing drinks, you know you're not going to sit there and sip it alone. Sir Malcolm will do the trick every time. It's a great value. And why do you think it's still on the market and selling at a steady clip around here? Because of the things I just said. I talked to somebody at Mathern's behind the counter. I said, what about that Sir Malcolm? And she said, we sell a lot of that stuff. She would know. She's one of the girls that work at customer service. She knows what they're selling. So she said, we sell a lot of that stuff. I didn't get into the particulars of it. I just was asking, almost in a nonchalant way to not tip her off that I was like curious about it. So, hey, there's your answer. Now, what's their number one selling whiskey at that store? The same as every other store in Louisiana. Their number one selling whiskey is Crown Royal, and that is without. There's no competition there. Crown Royal is the crown jewel of Louisiana. I can't testify to your state. There's 49 states, a District of Columbia, and U.S. territories. But I'll tell you one thing: Crown Royal wins hands down. Now, is Jack Daniels popular? You know the answer to that. Of course, it's popular. Jim Beam, yes, and so on and so on. But that Crown Royal, I've never seen anything like it. Comes in on pallets. I mean, Sir Malcolm, you might get a case every month. Be 6 bottles in a case. Big deal. Okay, it sells, get 12 cases a year. Maybe they sell 18 cases. I'm talking about each store. Each store. Chivas Regal, it does okay. People buy it, kind of. And there's higher level brands at Mathern's. They kind of leak out. Or it could be Winn-Dixie. I'm not just talking about Mathern, Winn-Dixie, Walmart, whatever. But Crown Royal, it's unbelievable. The peach, the Crown Royal peach. That's the big thing right now. And the Texas mesquite wood, the charred mesquite wood. I mean, it's unreal. The apple, Crown Royal apple, people go crazy. I gotta go get my Crown Royal apple. And don't start criticizing Crown Royal around here. Now, you in your town where you live, you might say, I always dog Crown Royal. I talk bad about it. I talk trash about Crown Royal. That's cheap. That's Canadian blended whiskey. I hate it. That's fine. Drink what you want. I don't care. It doesn't make any difference to me. But come down here and start talking dog about Crown Royal. I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't go in a bar room around here. I would not go into a lounge or bar around here and start talking trash about Crown Royal. That would be a big mistake. People are kind of volatile around here, so I wouldn't advise that. I mean, you could talk bad about Chivas Regal because most people wouldn't even care. It's got its little niche following. I'm talking about here. I'm not talking about other places. This is one of the top selling Scotch whiskey brands in the world. Blended Scotch whiskey brand. Well, Scotch in general. Oh, that's good. Oh, man, that's good. The more I drink it, the more I like it. Flavorings are now infiltrating the liquor world. Beer was bad enough. Oh, infiltrating. How about let's try the word dominating. Dominating the whiskey world. I mean, every whiskey you see, apple, peach. I mean, it goes on and on. It goes on and on. I mean, what's next? They got peach. Oh, well, I guess anything could be next. Pineapple, chocolate milk flavored, Crown Royal. Well, what difference does it if people like it? Let them drink it. I mean, I'm not buying it, but hey, everything cinnamon. All right, so here we go. I'm going to call it, which is obviously, I don't even need tags because I know what it is. CR. Chivas Regal wins. But we knew that. All right, tomorrow, what's going to happen? Well, actually, I'm a little concerned, not terribly so, little concerned about the 100 Pipers from the same company, Chivas Brothers, Pernod-Ricard. But the 100 Pipers was introduced in 1965. I guess that was Chivas Brothers, meaning Seagram's, because Seagram's bought Chivas Regal a long time ago. What, 1949? Yeah, 1949. I guess it was just their introduction of a standard Scotch whiskey instead of the premium, because Chivas Regal was always kind of like a little bit more expensive. So they wanted to come out with one that would just be like regular priced, like comparable to Jack Daniels or something like that. So I think 100 Pipers did fine. Then there was kind of their budget brand that Seagram's came out with, which was Passport. And they only make one. There's no variants. They have their own website, doesn't tell you anything. So, oh yeah, join the Passport Club, yay. It's actually very popular in some parts of the world. I mean, very popular, like extremely popular. I can get it. Don't want to get the big plastic bottle. Want to get the glass, that square bottle. So that would be curious to try. Apparently, it's extremely popular in like Brazil and Ecuador or something. I don't know. I could just stay up all night long talking about all this. Like, oh, what about this? What about that? What about this situation? Well, nighttime has arrived, folks. Oh, that's a jewel. Do you pick up some underneath grain alcohol, grain whiskey? Sure. I mean, we're not going to pretend otherwise. Chivas Regal is a blended Scotch whiskey. It's not totally perfect. It's $33, $34 a bottle. Now, they have some that will be hundreds of dollars a bottle. Obviously, they're going to be way better. Some of those come from what they call ghost distilleries, distilleries that have been shut down for 80 years, that they have been saving the whiskey in casks. This is not a joke. We are talking about serious stuff. I mean, that's way out of my ballpark. I mean, you can get brandy, you can get cognac. What is it? I can't remember the brand. One of those brands that are so easy to get. But there's one at Doornext called Louis the 13th. $39.99. You say, oh, that's not bad, $39.99. No. $3,999.95. That's for one 750 milliliter bottle of brandy, cognac brandy. $3,999.95. Louis the 13th. It's not Hennessy. It's but you can get Hennessy's that are $4,000 a bottle. Now, would I dream of doing that? No. We're all freaking out over Johnny Walker Blue Label. That's $250 a bottle. And that's if you get a deal. These days, $250 you caught a deal. Or there's Chivas Regals that are $250. Easily much higher than that. What about Sir Malcolm? Well, all right, that's it. All right, I promise I'm getting off. But John Anile can testify to this. If he's still watching, he might have got tired of listening to me talk. But This was a Dust Busters. I almost called it that, Dusk Busters. But I said, nah, people think I'm being cheeky. Oh, boy. When John and Neely and I went to World of Beverage, we saw a bottle of Cutty Sark in that smoky black bottle, smoked black bottle. And it was $250. He can back me up. $250 for Cutty Sark. Oh, no, but we're not talking about the regular old run-of-the-mill Cutty Sark. Oh, no. But we weren't ready to lay that kind of money down. All right, so Sir Malcolm, last straw. I've finished off the, look at that. I finished off the Chivas. Oh, that residual smell in the glass is so good. Oh, man. That smell, that aroma. It's like dough. Oh, that's wonderful. Oh, man. And I'm not, you say, you've been drinking out. No, I was drinking water. It just smells good. Okay, now this. A little candy taste. All right, let's close it out with the Sir Malcolm. The Sazerac have hundreds of dollars a bottles of scotch. Yes, they do. In fact. Well, that was thoroughly ordinary, that last sip. But what do you expect? But the aroma. Let's see about the aroma. Yeah, it's ho-hum. It's like, you say, well, it's like a Chevy Cruze. Yeah, you could drive it. It'll get very good gas mileage. It won't cost a whole lot. No one will be impressed. And they don't need to be, because you can drive around and enjoy it. And it'll be fine. Yep, that was quite a sight to behold. I guess there's a market for high-end Cutty Sark products. Got that right. Craig says, Jeremy's here now. We have to continue the video for 30 more minutes. Jeremy says, laughing out loud. I ain't continuing it. Cheers, Ron. Cheers back to you, Jeremy. Man, like Blue Oyster Cult said, I love the night. I like to wake up at 2:30 in the morning because it's nighttime. I can go outside. It's dark. Nobody's awake. I see the newspaper out there. But I can't wake up at 2 something or 3 something if I'm not asleep. So I'm going to sleep. All right. Well. After this taste challenge, I bet I'll be sleeping pretty fast. But anyway, I'm not gonna. All right. So, wow, Sir Malcolm, you didn't win, but then no one thought you would. But you're like Chuck Wepner. You did okay. You did okay. You did okay. You stayed in there for the whole 15 rounds, and you did all right. Chivas Regal, you're just out there battling and winning and winning and winning, and everybody loves it. And what do you expect? Hey, this is one of your standard products. This is one of your standard products, people. And what's the next scotch in a couple of months? Johnny Walker. Johnny Walker. The only people that hang out with me is my 2 friends, Johnny Walker, Red and Black. Scruffy's his janitor says, you're not even going to continue for Scruffy? For Scruffy? And then Jeremy says, no, I got to get off of here. I got to get up. I got to get off. I got to get up. I got to get up. Yeah. All right, well, hey, all y'all got to do is stay up until 5:30 tomorrow morning, and I'll be back on with that dawn. Well, maybe by about 5:40. Dawn Busters Taste Challenge. And it's going to be Chivas Regal against 100 Pipers. Now that one's going to be, I can't wait for that. All right, thanks for watching this video production.